Welcome to the Porsche Club Insider, your one stop for all things Porsche and PCA. Here's your host, Vu Nguyen, and the Insider crew.
Welcome, everyone, to episode 195. We have our friend and no stranger to PCA here, Tim McNair, owner of Gran Prix Concours, and we're going to introduce him, and we're going to have a good time. On this episode, we're going to welcome him, and he's going to take us behind the scenes of what he does every day, preparing cars for the most competitive Concours events. We'll hear about how he got started, what led him to work on such valuable and rare cars, and the stories behind prepping all these. For me, every time I see you, I learn something new, and I know what we're going to go over today, that you're going to walk away from this podcast and some details of maybe taking better care of your Porsche or whatever car you might be cleaning. But before we get started, I want to, of course, thank our presenting sponsor, Pirelli. Pirelli tires have to achieve the highest levels of performance, safety, noiselessness, and grip on the road surface. Innovative tires that can even satisfy the most specific mobility needs of the end consumer. And also, I want to thank you all for listening. If you aren't currently a PCA member and own a Porsche, what are you waiting for? Grab that VIN, head over to pca.org and make yourself a member. And if you're looking for a Porsche, we have the test drive program. Just head over to pca.org and we'll unlock resources to help you find that special Porsche for your driveway or garage. So let's kick it off with, again, Tim McNair, owner of Gran Prix Concours. If you're going to any major show in the U.S. and I guess internationally too, and there's some fairly valuable cars, more than likely you're going to find Tim there. And I would say he's like the, and I hope I don't offend if I don't say this correctly, like you're like the detailer to the stars of like the car stars, right? I mean, seven-figure cars is just normal to you. 7,
yeah. Now 8 or more.
Oh,
yeah.
So you don't own the kind of shop where I'm dropping off my wife's Macan and picking it up later in the day.
You could drop it off. You won't work on it, but you can surely drop it off.
Certainly drop it off, leave gas in it and the keys. I'll be fine. But, well, first thing I should probably tell you is I don't have a shop. I'm completely mobile. I never had a shop. I've never done advertising. Everything's been done by referral. So every time I get a chance to work on something, and I've been in the greatest collections of all time. And it's amazing. I love doing it. And
we haven't used that word in a while. Sorry.
Amazing. Anytime you say amazing.
Oh, great. I got to watch what I say. But yeah, so it's been a great haul. We had a great time.
When I describe your level of work to those that don't know your work, I say, well, just imagine, have you ever met a detailer that will come in with his wagon or arson of tools and get started on your car, usually doesn't wash it. The cars are done kind of dry, and we'll talk about that in a bit. But the thing I always tell him is what he does it so well that he wears a button-up Brooks Brothers shirt while he's doing it.
Yes, that's true.
That's true.
Always hold up appearances.
Yeah.
Don't wear hoodies. But it's a funny thing. My background is I was in the restoration business. So another kind of weird thing that I do that most detailers don't do is I'll take things apart. Especially when I'm preparing a show car. A lot of times I'm in a shop already and ask them to remove parts. But things like air cleaner assemblies and things like that. But headlights, taillights, trim, anything I can take off rather than tape off, sometimes it's easier. And you'll get a better finish, especially badges and things like that.
What I most admire about you is, family and friends oftentimes ask me to help them clean their cars, detail their cars and stuff like that. And the cars aren't that valuable for the most part, but I always have like a fear of messing things up. You're working with 7-figure, 8-figure cars, doing it under a hot lamp because the car's about to be on the Pebble Beach show the very next morning at the 11th hour. Like, that's a lot of pressure.
At times. I have to say, the funny thing I found in the business, I've been doing just Concours preparation, not detailing, just Concours prep for the last 20 years. And I've worked on everything from original paint Ferraris from the 50s to an 1885 Duryea, things like that, where, and a lot, I never consider the value of the car. I try not to even let that enter. And honestly, paint's paint.
Yeah.
I'm more interested in how the paint's going to respond to the products I'm using.
Yeah.
Also, what process I'm about to use to clean things.
Yeah.
So I always err on the side of caution. I start with very, low abrasives or very low chemical compounds that don't strip, too harshly. But generally, at this point, I'm really not intimidated by the cars, more by the owners.
Wow.
You said,
well, that's it.
When you said it's not detailing, it's Concours prep.
Yes.
What does that mean? Well,
Well,
I would think it's the same thing.
The easiest way I could describe it is I'm the 2% guy. I'll actually go into a shop, and they all look at me. It's kind of funny. And the car will be 98% done, and I dot the I's across the T's. If I'm doing a car that's already completed, I can spend between 40 and 60 hours on a completely restored car. If I have the opportunity, if it's on a lift, I'll have the wheels off. I'll do inside the wheel wells. Just a typical preparation that we did for Pebble Beach. We'll use some of those pre-war cars that we did this year. I did a Duesenberg. Luckily, it was on a lift. We had the wheels off. It takes anywhere between 4 and 6 hours just to do a wheel. You have to go and polish each individual spoke and things like that. But in some cases, I get a lot of garage queens. So it's easy to bring them back up to spec, but a lot of times they do drive their cars, especially now tours are so popular. I'm getting cars back from tours that really need a lot of work. So
when Manny asked the difference between detailing and what you do, I think of a lot of times when people participate in the Porsche Parade Concours, and there's people out there that will pay a detailer to prepare their car, or they paid a detail. They had what they say is, I had it detailed, right? And then they come to parade and they do terribly, because I think detailing a car in the normal sense is very different from a car that's about to be judged. And I would imagine when you're cleaning, do you have like a sense of what the judges will be looking for, and like that's what you're focusing on, as opposed to the broad panel that's easy to see whether it's shiny or not shiny?
Right. Anyone can make a car shiny.
Yeah.
What separates Concours prep from everything, what separates my business from everyone else's is I'm a judge. I'm a senior class judge at Ferrari. I've judged literally all over the world. Lugano, Switzerland. I judge at Pebble Beach now every year. And I think that gives me a serious advantage, because I know what I want to see. And I will actually use scoring sheets as I work to pre-score the car before it gets there. I've also been hired in some cases to prejudge a car and then tell them what's wrong with it before it goes to a national meet. So go in there and say, hey, you need to fix this, you need to change that, those screws are wrong.
Watch your tapping.
Sorry, those screws are wrong. The decals and things like that. So, I go in there and we make all those adjustments as we go. But I think it gives me a real advantage being both a judge and being from the restoration world, because I know what to look for and I know what it takes to make it better.
But there has to be, tell us there has to be a car or a situation that makes you nervous. Like what would make you nervous? An 8-figure car, or again, or a high profile event, or what would make you nervous?
It's not so much nervous anymore. When I was first starting, one of the first cars that I did when I started detailing this was in the mid 80s, and I started going on my own and doing my own thing. And I worked for a client of mine here in Maryland that had 15 Ferraris. He also had lifts in his garage for the F1 toolbox, like all the cool stuff. And he had a Daytona Spider. He had a Boxer, which was new. He was just taking delivery of his 288, that kind of stuff. And so, going there for the first time was pretty intimidating. But one of the first cars that truly made me nervous, I was working at, this is actually a quick side note. This was, I would say probably 1985 or 6. And I was working in Fort Washington in Pennsylvania near Philadelphia. And there's one of the big brokers at that time was Mark Smith. and the old Philadelphia Motor Car Company, and he asked me to come in and do this Ferrari for him. So I drove over, and there it is. I drove up, and there's a 330 LMB, which is a 250 GTO with a big motor and a long tail, basically, in so many simple terms. So I walk over, and I'm looking at this car, and I'm thinking, oh, this is going to be a lot of work. The car is beat. You know, a guy drove it all the time. Pirani wire wheels, never experienced those. Oh. I'm like, oh, this is going to be a problem. So I come out, and he comes over, says, yeah, I just need you to clean this up. You know, make it look nice. It's being shipped to Switzerland. I said, oh, that's cool. I said, I got to ask you, like, what's something like this worth? He said, well, I just sold it for $850,000.
Back in 1980.
So I said, wait a minute. You mean someone's going to pay close to $1 million for a car? And he goes, oh, yeah. He said, he's been looking for this car forever, and finally we were able to get it.
Wow.
$1 million. Could you imagine?
Back in the day.
Back in the day. That was like serious money. So, it took me 2 days to do the car, and just doing as carefully as possible, because a lot of times when I get these cars, you don't know who painted it, when it was painted, how much material is on it. And I don't care how many paint meters you own in your life, you still don't know how much clear versus paint versus primer versus anything.
Right.
So it doesn't really matter. You can use them all day and it won't help you. Yeah. So it's really just feel, touch, and being careful.
Oh. How about like what I would think would get me nervous is like an original paint car.
Yes.
Because especially an older car, because you don't know is this paint ready to come off, and am I going to be the one to knock it off?
Oh, that's the thing. And I've in the last year or 2 years, I've done some incredible original paint cars. We had an AC Ace Bristol that we took to Amelia this year and won a preservation award, but it had original lacquer on it. Lacquer is very forgiving. It's either on the car or it's not. So what was left on the car, which was cracking and peeling, you had to be very careful where it was cracked. But where it was actually adhered to the car, you could polish. And I basically just use a very simple, low abrasive polish, and took my time. And yes, I used a buffer on it. Orbital, low speed, foam pad, took my time. And it came out like glass. The car looked gorgeous.
Oh. Well, tonight we have the pleasure of having you on Tech Tactics Live, and I brought in my not so pristine 356, and I showed you earlier, like, there's some areas, it was resprayed in the 80s, and when they say prep is everything, I think my car is a perfect example of where prep is everything, because down the road, 20 years, 30 years later, whatever it is, if you didn't prepare it well, some of the stuff kind of bubbles up, and I have some areas in my paint that bubbles up. And my question to you was, how careful do I have to be around it? Like right now, I tiptoe around it. Like I barely put the microfiber on it just to make sure I make a pass and make it dry. Like I don't want to accidentally like pop the bubble and have it start to crack and stuff like that. How do you know?
Well, eventually what'll happen is, and it could be 10 years, it could be 2 years. If you put it out in the sun, it could be tomorrow. Some of the, yeah, how about that?
The vampire car.
You have, one of the things I noticed on your car was just solvent pop, which is basically the undercoat was curing after, or the top coat was curing faster than the bottom coat, basically is what it is. And sometimes those little dots will come off. Sometimes they won't. At this point, your car, I wouldn't be afraid to go over that whole thing with a polisher. No problem.
I thought he was going to say a sander.
Yeah. There's that too. But
I wouldn't hesitate to have it refinished.
The thing is, if I know it's going in for paint, well, of course, we can use anything we want.
No,
but it's not original paint, so if anything happens, it's not like you're taking
but
original paint.
But I don't want to make it worse. That's the thing is, I love what's called the patina that it has now. I just don't want it to get worse.
And for those who haven't seen Boo's car, it looks like it has ingrown hair.
Hey.
The little bumps you get in your skin.
Yeah.
It's acne. Don't worry. It's all good.
It's an old car. It has a little patina.
Yeah, that's it.
You were hoping Tim would give you some magical advice.
Yes,
and
of
course. Then within minutes, it would disappear.
Of course.
Yeah, we could use lacquer thinner. Just even it all out. How's that?
Oh, my gosh. Oh, no.
But it's in case of this Bristol, one of the things that we found was right behind. They always ran with the boot on it, and under the boot, all the paint had lifted, and ended up we were right down to bare aluminum at that point.
Oh,
so what we do then is we tape it all off and tape all the edges, and I use a matte clear and seal everything that's peeling, just seal it down. So it's not going to come off anymore.
It's not gonna come off anymore.
Yeah.
So just rewinding to, what were you doing? Like, what, did you grow up in the car world? Did your parents make you wash their cars? Like, how did you get into this?
Well, my family typically was not into cars at all. My brothers were a little bit into it. I have 2 older brothers, and they were sort of into it, but not per se.
Pennsylvania born and raised?
Yep, Philly.
Yeah, Philly. Okay.
Go Birds.
Yeah.
So to that point, I was the car guy. So they would. This is the story my mom always told before, and they would build models, and they would have under their bed. They had this box of just various model parts, and I would just go in there. I wasn't allowed to use glue.
Yeah.
So I went in there and would just assemble cars and make models
Out
of their
parts?
scrap parts and just build stuff like that. So it became a sort of a car obsession. At age 10, I had a subscription to Road Track magazine.
Oh, of course.
And that, of course, that was the standard at the time, and fantastic. And that just led to one thing to another. And when my brothers, wanted their cars cleaned, I would always clean the cars, and I kind of liked it. So I was 14, 15,
So your
16.
brothers inceptioned you. I did that
Yeah.
to my sister, like when she was younger, and my dad made me clean the kitchen table after dinner. She saw me with the spray bottle and the towel, and she thought it was the coolest thing ever. I'm like, you're not old enough to use this yet, but one day I'm going to let you use a Windex. She said, oh my gosh, can I use it today? I'm like, nope. And finally I let her use it, and then she
Yeah.
she was like, oh, I get to clean the table. I'm like, have at it.
Have at it. Yeah.
Have at it.
Nice.
So your brothers inceptioned you like I inceptioned my sister.
Yeah. So, yeah, exactly right. But eventually, fast forward a bunch of years, and I've been in the car business at the time. I did. I've done everything in the car business. A lot of Porsche people will remember a place in Philly called Subtle Dynamics. I worked at Subtle Dynamics selling Coney shocks and Cami spoilers and Bill Steeds.
Was it like an independent repair shop? Okay.
No. Accessories.
Oh, accessories.
Yeah,
Oh,
we used to run full page ads, road track, and things like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was our thing.
I remember the Cami spoilers and all that. That's kind of thrown it way back.
Oh, yeah.
He was one of the original importers or sellers of a thing called Rain-X. You guys heard of this?
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So he that's where his whole thing started, Rain-X, and then they sold Porsche design and we all kinds of crazy stuff. But we did mail order.
Okay.
There was a company in Ohio called Michael Ionelli Auto House, and the two of them would compete against each other all the time in Road Track magazine to see who would have bigger ads and better prices. And it was all by mail order.
Mail order business.
People calling in, giving their credit card numbers over the phone, and all that fun stuff. But anyway, moving on. After that, I met a bunch of people, but a friend of mine had a detailing business in Devon, PA. His dad was a banker in Philly. So what he would do is he would walk down or ride his bike or take his car down to the train station, pick up one of his dad's friend's Mercedes, bring it back to his garage and clean it.
Yeah.
And then put it back before they got home from the train. So with that, I started working for him part-time and cleaning cars. That's where I learned how to use a buffer. And but there was a car that he finally bought opened the shop, and there was a car in the back of the shop. It was an XK120 coupe, and no one was allowed to touch it. And I said, so what's the deal with that? He goes, well, that car's going to this big show called Pebble Beach. And what's Pebble Beach? So he started explaining to me how, we have to detail the undercarriage, we have to do the engine, and I thought, that's a really cool thing. So one thing, again, I started doing more and more cars. My friend was a sales manager at Algar Ferrari.
How old were you at this time?
I would say 20s, 22, 3, 4, somewhere.
Early 20s.
Yeah. And then
I
my
didn't
friend.
realize you've been in this game that long.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
And he, I'm old, by the way.
That was a long time.
So he, I started building some ground and working on my own customer cars. And my friend at Algar would send me Ferraris all the time. And
Okay, that's a big jump. You were working for a detailing company.
working on Mercedes and the high-end cars anyway.
Oh, okay,
Mercedes
okay.
and Porsche only.
Okay, I got
you. Yeah, it wasn't, we didn't do any
Pedestrian
Ford,
cars, yeah.
Country Squires and stuff. It was mostly higher-end cars.
And
They're all
this was
bankers in Philly. So
like early 80s?
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And then, so anyway, started doing these cars and got involved with the Ferrari Club. Ferrari Club begat me judging. I judged, my first judging gig was at the New Hope Auto Show.
And you're now in your 30s?
Yeah,
30s, okay.
times 2.
Yeah.
And,
No, I'm saying when you became the judge of
yes.
first.
No, probably same time, about the same, maybe late 20s at this point.
Late 20s. Okay.
And then I started judging there. it was one of
You
those
had to be
things.
one of the youngest judges.
Yeah,
there.
that's what I'm
No,
thinking.
surprisingly,
No?
yeah, I probably was. But what was interesting was I also drew the short straw. Someone didn't make it, so hey, can you do this?
Yeah.
All you had to do is follow the form, and well, I kind of knew what I was doing anyway. But so anyway, I ended up judging, and then that begat more and more into the clubs. So I've judged at Porsche Club, Ferrari Club, Alpha Club, CCCA. I went to the AACA has judging schools. I've done those. They're fantastic. So that's where I really learned my chops. And I always thought when I got, so flash forward, got out of this detailing thing. I actually, with a friend of mine I just spoke to the other day, we opened a detail shop just outside Baltimore, in Towson.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you're the business owner of a detail shop.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so we opened this shop and we were working on cars, and I ended up getting involved with the whole girlfriend getting married thing. And I left him the business, and it paid for his law school. He went on to be a lawyer, smarter than me.
Oh.
Yeah. So then when I got back to Philly, I was a nervous advisor at a Mercedes dealership. I'm a Mercedes certified tech. I'm a Lotus certified tech. All this fun stuff I did. But my real passionate job, the job I loved the most, was working in Camden, New Jersey, in the absolute war zone of Camden, New Jersey, on 300 SLs. So I was the last guy in line. I was the assembler.
Oh.
I would get a car with chassis, body attached, engine in, usually suspension attached, and then with a box full of wiring harness, and say, okay, start.
And you're working for Mercedes at this point?
No, working for a restoration shop.
Oh, a restoration
in
shop.
Camden, yeah.
Ah, okay.
And so what I would do is I do all the final assembly work, then I would do the prep, and then I would accompany the car to the show.
Ah, okay.
So all the Starfest, all the big Mercedes shows, we won everything those years.
Yeah.
And
Now we're in the 90s?
yeah,
Okay. We're in the
92, 93.
Okay.
Oh, actually, 91, 92.
Okay.
And then still doing cars, still working for them. Got out of the business entirely. Sold suits, clothing for a while.
Oh.
And then started selling, of all things, I got into the wine business.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I said, the hell with cars. I'm done with this. I
Yeah.
got so tired of working on stuff, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Change of pace. Starting a small family, things were starting to happen. I worked for a company, we sold wine. That went into working for a company that sold espresso machines.
Oh.
So now you might think this is all goofy and stuff like that, but what I find too is that most enthusiasts, A, drink coffee, and B, love wine.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
when I go out socially now, I'm the guy that gets the wine list,
Yeah.
which is cool.
Yeah.
Because most people just look at the next thing or order the box order.
Yeah, Manny and I ask for the fruity drinks with umbrellas.
Yeah, or just or the opposite in my world. They go down and look how much Opus 1 is today, and they'll spend that
they just
because
buy it.
it's the most expensive thing on the menu. So
Yeah.
that must be good.
It has to be good.
Yeah, it has to be good.
Yeah.
So anyway, got out of that, started selling cars. I sold Hondas, I've sold Minis, I've sold all kinds of
So
stuff.
you got back into retail sales with cars. Okay.
And in 2006, I was selling Minis at the time, and I had a nice client base, probably about 10, 15 clients of just doing heavy metal, just big cars.
Yeah.
I said, you know what? That's what I really like to do. I'm going to do it. My mom
During
had
the day, you're selling minis, but
Yeah.
in your extra time, you're dealing with some 15 clients. Okay.
So I started the business with like $1,000, and I bought some equipment, and the best thing I ever did was I went to Monterey. And I met people. Meeting people was the big thing.
Yeah.
I did a lot of work at that time with the guys at Classic Motorsports magazine. We did a bunch of little projects here and there, did some video work, some work in the magazine. And I will say this, I'm in probably 100 different magazines. I've written for Octane, Magneto, and other magazines myself. I don't get any work from being in magazines. I don't get any notoriety, anything like that. Some people have seen it.
Yeah.
The only time it's ever happened was I was very, very fortunate. My friend works for the New York Times and did an article on me last year.
Oh.
I saw that one.
And I had 2 or 3 clients actually come up to me and say, saw you in the Times.
Ah.
Which was like,
Yeah.
wow. First of all,
very cool.
I'm in the Times.
Yeah.
Okay. It's one thing to be in Octane. It's one thing to be in the Times.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
it's a different world.
Yeah.
And that was really cool.
For good reason, not a bad reason.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
You're not a tabloid.
wasn't a mug shot. I wasn't on the first page.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's just been great. Probably the best thing about being in this and doing what I'm doing and quitting my job at that time and really struggling to get cars. Again, it's all been by referral. I've been getting some of the greatest cars. And then I get together with clubs. I've done seminars for the Porsche Club, Ferrari Club, on your cruise, actually. Maybe another time. We did a Going Group was a great one. Alpha Club I've done for them. One of your chapters, Lone Star,
okay,
sent me to Texas. We did a seminar for those guys, which was really great. Perfect. Thank you, Derek.
Yeah,
that was a lot of fun. I would love to do that again. So they send me all over to these seminars. I guess I befriended some other people in the business like Jason Camisa and things like that. Got involved with Haggerty and done a bunch of videos with them called Beyond the Details. You've probably seen some of it, maybe. Over 500,000 hits on our one episode detailing a dry ice blasting a McLaren F1.
Yes, I remember that one.
So McLaren F1 is another sort of pet project of mine. I've probably done over 30 F1s.
Oh, how many are there?
64
road
so cars. I've done 19 of the GTR LM cars as well.
Wow.
So I was involved with the F1 Owners Club. So I would detail all the cars for them after their tours. Took me to Jackson Hole for one of their tours. Took me to, yes, that is an LM.
For those of you that aren't watching on YouTube, Damon just put up a beautiful photo of a McLaren there.
Yeah.
So do the F1 owners get together and they're like, who do you get to detail your car? And suddenly they're like, I want someone who's familiar with the car. And
that's how you get that's a very funny thing. Not only that, but I ended up making friends with some very, very interesting people at the time. And it turned out to be just so helpful in my business. One of the long, convoluted story, but I'll make it quick. One of our tours was in Jackson Hole. And I got this phone call from Ray Bellum, FIGT world champion, who is organizing these tours. And he said, I've got a client. He wants to do a pre-tour. Can you help him set it up? He wants to go like from Arizona and maybe do some back roads and go through Bryce and Zion and come up through Park City. And this was the tour we planned, and then end up at Jackson Hole and start our tour. I said, sure. So the client was Mansour Auger, who at the time was the biggest shareholder in McLaren.
Whoa.
And I would get a call just randomly. And it's like, talk about intimidating, right? So he calls me up. He says, hey, you interested in doing this for me? I said, absolutely. I'd love to do it. He said, well, set up the whole thing. I'll send it over the itinerary. Tell me what you like, whatever. So anyway, what we did was there's 6 people. And we rented one motorhome. I had a friend drive the motorhome and follow 2 P1s.
Oh.
And they left. We originally were planning on leaving out of Scottsdale, going to Flagstaff, driving, and then driving up from there. He called me one morning and said, hey, the drive between Scottsdale and Flagstaff kind of sucks. Would you mind if we took the plane? I'm like, sure. So I had to call Scottsdale and make sure that they took his Bombardier, his Global Express. He's on the board of Bombardier as well, by the way.
Wow.
So he had a Global Express, huge. And I have a picture of it. I should send that to you. So of the plane, the 2 P1s and the motorhome sitting on the tarmac prep before the tour. So they take off and they drive, and I finally meet him in person in Jackson Hole. He shows up. He went into town, bought a hat, a sheriff's star, cowboy boots, and a bolo tie, and that's how he showed up at the event. And he just loved the tour and had a great time. That then ended up being more and more stuff I did for him and his friends.
So what did you have to do? Clean his car after every day, or?
Yeah, so I cleaned all the cars every day. So you
had a team of people helping you.
One other person.
One other person.
Yeah, I only brought 2
just
people.
Him and like
my friend Phil at that time, and Phil and I did this thing, and every night we worked in the basement at the Amangani, which is a 5-star resort in Jackson Hole.
Yeah.
And then from there, also we did I did another tour in Bordeaux with the same thing, and in Bordeaux, there were so many F1s. And the thing about the F1 Owners Club is that they drive the hell out of their cars.
Yeah.
Just a quick side note, we were driving the rental, which was a 720S. And I was with one of my clients who's actually driven in Indianapolis and things like that. So I was okay. We're coming down this back road and we're doing, I'm not kidding, we're doing 170 plus. And I'm looking over at the speed, I'm going, man, we're going fast. And because everything looks like a ribbon at this point. He says, oh, check the mirror. And I look in the mirror, and an F1 GTR Longtail, the Davidoff car, and the Lark Shorttail were coming up on us.
Oh, my gosh.
On a back road in the middle of France. So he slows down, and we move over a little bit, and they go by us like we're standing still. No tags, open exhaust, just whoa, whoa, like that.
That's crazy.
And they're going winery to winery.
Oh.
In Bordeaux.
All right. Well, let's pause right there.
Bad side note.
I do want to recognize our corporate sponsor, Auto Atlanta. If you're chasing some parts for your Porsche and it's impossible to find, give them a call. They might have stuff for your 944 Turbo, your 914, whatever your heart desires. Either way, Auto Atlanta has you covered. They've been taking care of Porsche since 1978. Not only do they have parts, but they also ship internationally and they offer expert tech advice. So whatever you need, no matter where you are in the world, autoatlanta.com. They also buy and sell pre-owned vehicles. So if you'd like to sell one, give them a call. If you'd like to buy one, give them a call as well. Whether you're rebuilding a classic or just needing that very single clip to finish the project, they have you covered. Autoatlanta.com. There's a 5% coupon code that you can use, PCA, the number 5, OFF. Again, autoatlanta.com, Porsche parts, Porsche people, Porsche passion since 1978. Now let's get back to your average customer. Like I know you said by participating in many of these events, participating in clubs, and by now, like I said earlier, you're sort of like the detailer to the stars. And if all these P1 or F1 owners know of you, your name must just get passed around, right?
Yes, occasionally. Yeah. A lot of, and again, meeting some of the other people on the tour, like Gordon Murray and things like that. It's been a lot of fun. My average,
what sets you apart from? Let's say I want to carry, maybe I want to put on a button-up Brooks Brothers and start cleaning cars. Like, what sets you apart from everyone else?
Like the valet.
Yeah, I just like driving.
And I know the answer to this partially because I've seen you work before. Is your attention to detail, and you work on cars as though they are your own, and you look at kind of with like a third eye almost. Like I might look at something and you look at the same thing. We're looking at the same thing, but you see that I didn't finish this corner, or I could have used, the Brie wax steel wool to make it better when I thought it was already clean. Like you have this extra spidey sense to clean cars, but there's more than that.
Yeah, it's an obsession. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Yeah, it is. I can't describe it. A lot of it comes from my background and things that I do on this. I'm as a hobby, I build crazy ass expensive model cars, and I have a lathe, a mill, 3D printer. Just bought a laser printer or laser engraver. All this fun stuff, and I think that is where you learn. That finite detail. But there is an eye to it. It's sort of like, the only way I can describe it is it's like a professional race car driver.
Yeah.
You could be a race car driver, but you're not a pro.
Yeah.
Having, David Donahue drive your car you'll realize how bad you really are.
Yeah.
Even though you think you're a great driver. Because that's what they do all the time. And it's the same kind of thing. I do this all the time. But the coolest thing to me is I'm at a point now where I've cut back. I don't have 5,000 customers. I don't want that. I never did.
Yeah.
I only want to work on, at this point in the business, I only want to work on what I'd like to work on.
Nice.
And that's a privilege. I mean, that's just really a great thing. The magic to a small business to me is the word no.
Yeah.
The ability to say no. When you can do that, you're doing the right thing.
Now, how often does this happen? Let's say one of your well-known or wealthy customers has you come in to work on a particular car. and you get started on it, but then you look to your left and there's 20 other cars in that garage, and like, while you're here, Timothy, why don't you go ahead and finish up the other 20 cars? Does that happen, or do you have to learn to say no, because that's really 6 months of work that you'd have to move in?
It literally just happened about
Did it
a month
really?
ago. Yeah.
I can imagine that happened.
I went in to work on a 1915 Mercer Raceabout.
Which I have no idea what that is.
It's cool.
What's it called again?
It was a yellow one, wasn't it?
Well, most of them were yellow. This one's blue.
Oh,
what is it? What is it?
A Mercer. They were built in
can't-
Trenton, New Jersey. It's
The Mercer, like,
They had like the 2 spare tires in the back.
Yeah.
And it was this.
there's like the one at
like
the
a race car.
Porsche museum with like the clover leaf. Like,
No,
That's
you're,
an
you're
Alpha.
thinking. Yeah, no, you're thinking of the Astro Daimler, I think.
Astro-
the
Daimler,
one that,
the world you live in, I just have no clue.
So these were American-built cars. They were
okay.
they were the GT2 of their time.
Oh.
They were fast, and
1915, you said?
yeah,
Whew.
and it's pretty amazing.
You got
there
up
it
on the
is.
board?
I don't, but I can.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Are these here?
That is one. Yeah.
See the 2 spare tires in the rear.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
I've only seen them in yellow. I've never realized
Damn
that.
it! It's a blue one,
Oh,
which just sold at auction recently. It should be easy to find. It might be that one in the middle there. Might be a 20.
No. So a Mercer.
Yeah, there it is.
I don't.
Oh, wow.
Wow. That was like the GT2.
Mercer running.
Yeah, I mean it was a.
That's
yeah,
a little model. It
was
looks
the-
like. but
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, but it's so the car. I was asked to come in because the grill had some staining in it. I had to polish the grill, so I polished it. I polished the grill. Then I did the rest of the car, and he was blown away. And I had to go back this week and work on the Bentley, pre-war Bentley that was in there with fabric body, by the way.
Fabric body. Wow.
So it's painted fabric. I'll show you. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Anyway, but that happens all the time. And a lot of times they'll ask me to do something while I'm there, and a lot of times I have to reschedule it because it just requires too much work.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's typically how it happens. My world is in the best collections.
Yeah.
A lot of these guys, either they're in storage places or they're in their own personal museum on white marble floors. I'm not making this up, or
Yeah.
black marble.
Yeah.
Very popular now. I never wash a car.
Yeah, that gets back to what we said earlier.
Yeah.
It's like
I can't.
you don't wash cars because you don't need to wash.
Well,
cars.
there's 2 reasons. One, I can't typically, and 2, the cleanup after washing a '57 pontoon TR that doesn't have gaskets in the doors.
Yeah.
I'll fill the interior with water with a hose. Are you
Right.
kidding me?
Yeah.
So I never wash, and I don't care what it is.
So I have to ask at this point.
'Cause
What?
Damon doesn't wash either.
Yeah,
so
Dan-
he-
Dan-
Yeah, me
doesn't
neither.
wash
In
for-
fact, I've
Oh,
got
I
a
know.
video you should watch, and then tell me.
Oh,
tell
I
me all
know.
the things I did
He
wrong.
knows about your video. He cringed.
Yeah,
told me.
yeah. Hey, it still looks better than it did.
Yeah. Does it?
Anyway, so my question is what surprises you now, or what shocks you? Because I've got a little bit. I don't want to say I'm jaded, but like it takes some. In the Porsche world, it takes something fairly impressive to make my jaw drop. For me, it was the white collection that did that for me when I visited there, and then the second time was the RS squared collection
Yeah.
that we had a video on.
Yeah.
And for obvious reasons, the white collection is very unique because of the color, or was, and the RS squared collection because of the cars that were in there. So what surprises you? What shocks you nowadays?
Probably the easiest thing I could tell you is the quality of some of the collections and the stuff that people don't see that I do. There's a particular collection, probably my favorite in the country. It's in the Indianapolis area. And for you Porsche guys, there is a Golf 917K in there.
Ooh, cool.
And an M8F. And just the easiest way I could describe this is when I first took a tour of the collection, I was out there to do, I'm sorry, sometimes my world to me sounds really, for lack of a better term, douchey.
Yeah.
But this is my world. This is what I get to work on all the time. I was hired to go out to do the last unrestored 250 GTO.
Oh.
And to you Porsche guys, if you don't know what that is, it is the holy grail.
I think everyone knows.
The
that.
last,
I think everybody knows.
the last
yeah.
unrestored. You said.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so mostly original paint. So yeah, but I got a tour of the collection, which, first of all, the buildings, the setting, everything is just spectacular. But even his crew or ex-IndyCar mechanics. One is ex-Holbert, by the way.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm walking around, and the one that struck me was in the corner. There was a GT350. There was a 427 Cobra, GT40. Yes, a real GT40 Mark II. And then sitting next to that was a 289 Cobra FIA car. Except I looked at it, I said, that's the Targa winner. He goes, oh, yeah. Dan Gurney's Targa Florio winning.
Wow.
So if you ever read the book Cobra Ferrari Wars, that's the car. Number 146, stripe across the nose. I mean, it was like just the sense of history. And just walking around and seeing these cars and just thinking, and the thing is, not only does he have these cars, but he still races most of them today.
Wow, that's crazy.
It's incredible. So a couple of years, flash forward another couple of years, so I did his an unrestored Testarossa. And 57 was originally a pontoon car, 58 converted to a standard body. Two things that are funny about this story. One is three things. I get working on the car, and it's up on a lift, and I pull the front grille out. And there's fog lights. There's driving in a fog, and I pull them out. They're Marshalls, and I take them out and I clean them, take them apart, clean inside, even clean the silvering, everything inside and out. Put them all back together, stick them back in the car. And the grill, which was all shot, it was all peppered with what was left of black paint. So I lightly just dusted a little bit more paint out just to give it a more consistent color. I'm not here to restore it. I just want to make it more fresh looking.
Yeah.
And cover up any of the sort of oxidation and stuff. So I do that. I put the whole thing back together. And I said, so the owner came back later, and I said, I even cleaned up the lights in the front. He goes, there are lights in the front?
Oh, you didn't realize there was lights in the front?
It was so dirty.
Oh.
You could barely see that they were behind the grill.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So
Wow.
I called a friend of mine earlier in the day. This is a really strange thing, and doesn't apply to you guys, but except for Rudge guys. So I'm looking at the car, and it's got a 2-spoke knockoff in the front and a 3-spoke in the rear. I'm like, that's really strange. So I called a buddy of mine. I said, hey, I need two-spoke knockoffs because it should have come with those.
Yeah.
And I said, but I need them to be original because this car's original. It's never been restored. I said, what do you got laying around that you haven't sent to the plater?
Yeah.
He goes, let me look. So he calls me back. He says, I might have a pair. I said, okay, good. So when the owner came in, before the owner came in, I'm in his shop, and he has phenomenal artwork all over the place, mostly pictures of real cars. So I'm walking down to the restroom downstairs, and on the wall, almost full size, is a picture of Mike Hawthorne driving that car at Le Mans.
Oh, wow.
And side view, 3-spoke, 2-spoke.
I was about to ask you, how did you not know that it was not original?
So I called my friend and said,
Forget it.
I don't need them. So
Wow.
when the owner came in after the light thing, it's the first thing I mentioned to him. I said, I thought that was totally wrong. And I said, but that proved me wrong right there.
Wow.
There it is.
Wow.
So, I mean,
Source material.
it's just one of those things, But anyway, this collection,
So tell me, you get asked to work on an unrestored GTO, as you just mentioned. How do you approach that? Like, you get to the garage, door opens, you see this incredible car, try not to be fazed by the value of it. Where do you start? And what's the customer's expectation that you're going to do to this car? Like, did you talk to them in advance? Like, I'm just going to work on the exterior, working on the interior, I'm working on the engine? Or do they say, here's a blank check and make me win Pebble Beach?
I would think the last unrestored GTO would have tons of patina.
Yeah.
And how do you keep that patina?
Let me just hit one point that you just hit. That is the biggest misnomer about me and my business. I don't get blank checks. I don't get people that say, I don't care what it costs, fix it. And I don't charge a lot of money. How's that?
Oh.
So I'm not the most expensive game in town, by far. And I charge what I think is fair.
That's nice.
And and what the market will bear. I do have a different rate Pebble Beach week because everyone's charging the same amount out there. So I just ride the pony out there and roll with it. But to the point of doing a GTO of this caliber, as you know, those cars are currently over 70 plus million. So it was a referral from a restoration shop. a very, very famous restoration shop. And I took it very seriously.
Yeah.
So I contacted the client and I said, you know, I'm going to come out. He was like, oh, I can't wait for you to be here. I've seen what you do, blah, 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 blah. And I said, okay, cool. Okay. So I get out there, and the first thing we do is let's get together and walk around the car. Set the expectations. I want to hear what he wants, what he's looking for. I don't care what I do. But if he's expecting me to clean, you know, the back side, the glass on the tachometer on the inside, well, I need to know that. So, which I do anyway, by the way.
But you're not doing that, but like 24 hours before a show, are you? Like taking speedometers apart?
No, see, most cases I'm never the night before.
Okay.
I am also never that guy.
Yeah.
I've done too many all-nighters. I've done too much of that crap. I don't want to ever do the last minute detail, you know, and expect to rescue your car for the show.
Well, I still can't get past the. I gotta know what's the Pebble Beach rate that other people are charging.
$300 an hour.
Oh, that's not too bad. So what's the
to clean a car?
What's the night before Pebble Beach rate?
Whatever it takes.
Well, it depends. Again, I don't know.
I imagine that's like calling a plumber and water's just pouring into your basement.
Yeah.
You'll pay anything for them to come fix it.
One thing I've learned in this business is never hold your customer hostage.
Yeah.
And I want the referral. I want to do, okay, so I did that car for you.
Yeah.
Now I want to do your other cars.
And your friend's cars.
So just another quick stupid story, but this is actually pretty funny. I go to Pebble this year, and a friend of mine is a broker out of in England. And he says to me, hey, I have a couple cars here. Can you clean them up? I don't have anybody to do it. Just wipe them down, get them touched up and ready for the show on Sunday. I said, no problem. He said, I'll do them on Friday after the tour. He said, great. So I got there, and the two of the cars, one was the most gorgeous green metallic Lamborghini Miura S. Just fresh Cremonone restoration, absolutely spectacular car. The other car was a 250 LM.
Oof.
Yeah, oof is right. Oof. To me, that was like,
yeah,
of course I'll do that.
Yeah,
I'll drop everything else. I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
So anyway, funny story. I'm working on the car. The owners came up, and they were from Australia, and they ship a car there every year just to do the show. So I'm talking to them. And they're older people, and they're just really nice people. They're great. And they love driving the car, and they drive this LM. So they drove it on the tour and everything, and I got all cleaned up for them. I'm just like drooling all over this thing. Funny story, though, is that she goes, I said, so what other cars do you guys have down there? She goes, oh, show them the Porsche. So he whips out his phone, and I'm thinking, I mean, he's got a 250 LM. What could it possibly be, right? Whatever, 06, 08, 17. Yeah. Sunoco 91730.
Oh.
And he goes,
Wow.
I just got this, and I
just got it.
I've driven it. I'm like,
Where?
right.
Yeah.
In Australia. I'm like, that is, what do you expect? It was like,
All right. Let's bring it back to earth.
Okay,
let's bring it back to earth, because there's this one photo you showed me.
Yes.
With the silver car and a clay bar. So this is something that, for those of you that are listening, this is going to apply to you possibly.
Is that a clay bar or a magic eraser?
No, that's a clay bar.
Oh, wow.
All right. So what kind of car is it, first of all?
550 Maranello.
Okay. So it's a valuable car.
Yep.
And what was the customer complaint on this car?
The car is dull, needed to be polished, and
By the way, no comments on what that looks like.
Okay.
yeah. So
it looks like dirty speed shine. That's what it is.
He walks over and he runs his hand on the, he said, it feels really rough for some reason. I said, okay. So I got the car, and I'm working in this dirty old shop of all things. And so I always start with the basics. So we clean the old car with speed shine. That's what you can see the little blue hint to it there. Hold the car clean with speed shine and get out the clay bar and start squirting it down. And I forget which.
But you start seeing a different color.
Yeah,
the clay bar is gray.
Yeah, the clay bar is like
clay
an
bar that we're
gray
looking
color.
at has.
And then so I flipped it, and if you would, Damon, that's
red.
what came up.
So that was what was stuck. So what we're looking at is now basically a red clay bar.
Yep. So basically, what it was the car was in a body shop recently, and that's red overspray paint
All over the car.
All over the car.
Wow.
So I spent a couple hours just taking overspray off. Magically, the car looked shinier,
Was that
cleaner.
like over the trim and windshield and everything you had to take off?
Everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're using the traditional clay bar. What are your thoughts on the synthetic clay? I use a synthetic clay mitt from Griot's Garage, which works really well, and I like it because it's easy to use.
Yeah.
And it's,
Well, I've switched. I use only not only, but I use typically the clay pad from Griot's.
the clay pad.
Yeah, so I should address that at some point. A lot of the stuff I use is available over the counter. It's a little disc.
Oh yeah. I know what you're talking about.
It's like $25.
Yeah.
You know, but a lot of stuff.
So
I
you don't
use-
have like a lot of secret sauce stuff you're using?
Oh, I do.
Oh,
Yeah.
you do.
And that the magic stuff we can talk about later. Some of the more interesting during Tech Tactics, because there's some really cool stuff I need to show you guys. But typically the basic stuff generally is available over the counter. And the reason for that is the story I always tell is I was going to Monterey and I'd packed Griot's 3-in-1 leather care,
Yeah.
and it exploded in the luggage that I brought with. So I've got a Pelican case that I carry my stuff in. I've got two smaller, like basically suitcases that are gutted just to carry buffers and lights, depending on what job I'm doing. So it was in one of the suitcases and it exploded. And so now I don't have any leather care. So, but I was able to go to AutoZone
They
and
have it
pick
on-
up another one.
off the shelf.
Yeah, off the shelf. So you learn to use the stuff that you need. I can't get it on a Sunday. I can't get it. I'm using some magic elixir made of elephant earwax or some crap. Let me tell you, the other situation is this. I'm not endorsed by anybody. I have friends in the business that send me stuff just because they do.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I use stuff that you can buy, like I said, over the counter, but I also have to use what works in the car. And what I find is some products work better than others. One day I may use a McGuire's product, or I may use a Griot's product, or I may use a Geon product, whatever it may be, because that's what works on that type of paint. The type of paints I work on could be anywhere from a urethane or from an original lacquer from the 50s. I've used old school stuff for old school paint, and it actually works. No kidding.
So how does, for the past 3 decades, the evolution of car care products has changed dramatically? Like I
Yes.
remember this tin bottle of what was called liquid glass. Don't you
Yeah.
remember that? Liquid
I've had
glass.
it, yeah.
I think I still have it because I don't throw anything away, but I have shelves and shelves of different car care products. How has the car care products changed, in your profession and
Well, it's
in terms of ease of use or quality or
Yeah.
level of gloss and all that kind of stuff?
All that. First of all, I should tell you that I have a collection of all kinds of polishes and waxes from all over the world and from all different time periods. I have a bottle of McGuire's from the 40s, according to Barry. And stuff like that. So I've got all this weird stuff, and I've tried everything.
Yeah.
Japanese stuff that's still written. I can't
Yeah.
understand what it says on the label, but it's
Yeah.
cool. Anyway, so to that point, today we have the best by far and away. The products are easier, faster, cleaner. I can achieve results in half the time with the advent of things like clay bars. And, I remember, of course, everyone does, using paste waxes. And there's still people out there that swear by colonite and all that stuff. I'm sure all that stuff is wonderful, but I use what works and what lasts. And because I have to.
All right. Final question from me, if you
Yeah.
don't mind, is we've all seen this video out there where the guy is paid some crazy amount of money to detail cars, and he literally puts I don't know what kind of wax it is by hand. He puts it on like lotion on his hand, and then he rubs the car down. Like, is that a thing?
Are you gonna make fun of me again?
Oh, did you do that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
in my
remember?
video, it was like okay, so you weren't.
So
That's all right. You did do that.
But I remember that
but I'm
back
talking
in
about a famous guy
In
that
the
did
80s,
it.
Well, I can-
Zymol, that's how they told
Yeah,
you.
they're
Well,
like,
I
your
can-
body heat is the perfect temperature to apply this wax. Like,
I know I'm going to piss somebody off with this, but I'm going to blame it all on Chuck Bennett.
Yeah.
Charlie Bennett's a guy, or Charles Bennett is the guy that designed Zymol.
Yeah.
And he was able to sell the BMW community that if it has an umlaut, it must be great.
Yeah.
And so I won't say the little known secrets about their company and back in the day in particular, but I will say that was his shtick. Use HD cleanse on the paint by hand and never use a buffer.
Right.
And then you apply it by hand. But to that point, and for Damon, to rescue him here,
Oh boy.
if it's a straight up
He's the one who brought back the memories from that video.
straight up wax, nothing, no abrasive in it.
Yeah.
Applying it by hand, you use less product, and you can get a more even, clean finish. That's my opinion, and that's what I've done with that. I don't do it anymore.
Yeah.
Because there are applicators that are better than my hand.
Okay.
So, but yeah, it was a thing. And with the Zymol products, when you got into the heavy duty stuff like Atlantique, which was whatever, $1,000 at the time, you had to warm it up in your
Right,
hands
exactly.
because it was
yeah.
so hard.
Yeah.
Whatever. The problem is that current technology has far surpassed that I can get a finish 10 times deeper, 10 times glossier using the modern products over any of that stuff.
Oh,
Any of the stuff, even 5 years ago,
really?
3 years ago.
Really?
Some of the ceramics that are out now, the top quality stuff. So, your Gion, G-Technique, there's so many products out there. I'm not going to name them all, but the higher end, better quality stuff is super. It's truly amazing. And the level of gloss that you can achieve with some of these products, whether polymer based or ceramic based, are just unbelievable. I've made cars that you wouldn't think could shine look like $1 million because the products are just that good. They make me look like, I always tell this to Griot. I said, your products make me look like a hero.
Yeah.
Because I could put it on a car in no time, and it's so shiny and glossy that everybody's impressed.
Well, we're going to leave you hanging there because if you want to know more of those details, tune in to
it's already
our
on YouTube.
Oh, yeah, it's already on.
By the time this comes out, it's already...
You got to check out the Tech Tactics Live where we're going to dig deeper, and he's going to share all of this.
I want to know, I would think that in this day and age, what wasn't around the 80s, obviously, was the internet and YouTube. But now, if I hear a new product, I can just go to YouTube and get... what you think is unsolicited opinions of what people think of it, and there's a balance because some manufacturers will send it to influencers,
of course,
or bring them to a pretty resort or something, and of course they're going to write great things about it.
Sure,
but you can find that the guys who aren't getting paid to do this and their opinions of
always consider the source.
Yeah,
and when you see, I see it all the time now. For me, there are a couple things that I always sort of not insulted by, but always laugh at. And one is the term paint correction.
Yeah.
Like my paint was always bad. I had to correct it.
Oh,
okay. We used to compound and polish and things like that. If that's what we do,
Yeah.
we polish the paint. We don't correct the paint.
Right.
Guys who go in there and can't wait to color, sand, and buff your car.
Oh.
Can I tell that story?
Oh.
It's one of my favorites.
Well, we got to cover some stuff, so
Okay.
make it quick.
I'll make it quick. I'm doing a seminar for McGuire's, and we're at Amelia Island, room full of about 200 people. And we're talking about cars, and I brought up the fact that these people are going out now, and they're doing paint correction, which to them means that they have to sand out the orange peel out of the car. So there was a person, a group of guys or a shop online that did a black 458 Ferrari. And they went around and measured every panel. And some were 9, some were 5, so they took an average. And what they did was they sanded every panel so they were all 7 mil.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. So, and then polished the car. So I said, this is about the dumbest idea I've ever heard because you don't know how much clear is on there.
I was gonna say.
Versus base coat.
You don't know what's
And-
the composition.
And I'll be
of
the
that
one to
7
say it, and Ferrari people, you can be pissed. Some of the worst paint coming out of the factories right now is coming from Ferrari.
Yeah.
I've seen cars that have to be
Other
painted
people
off the
said that,
boat.
so you're not the first.
Yeah,
So-
we've definitely heard that.
It's just terrible. And then, so anyway, I'm talking about this and saying this is a travesty. These guys they're just taking advantage of some guy that thinks this is such a great idea on his car. And now there are panels on his car that may even have like a half a mil of clear left on them because they sanded it so much, right? And with that, these two guys got up and left. I'm like, all right. So I finished my seminar. And RJ comes up to me from McGuire's. He goes, hey, I got to talk to you for a second. I said, what's up? He goes, remember that Ferrari story? I said, yeah. He said, yeah, those are the guys that did it.
Oh, yikes.
Yes.
All right. With that, I'm going to remind you, make sure you sign up for PCA's newsletters, Performance News, eBrake News, and Mart Fresh, all free. And in the news, we're talking about a developing Dakar.
Well, that's a rumor.
Yeah.
With the new 992 GTS. Of course, the original Dakar, they built 2,500 examples, and they're all sold and in people's garages. But I think Porsche isn't going to leave good alone, and they realize that there's still a market for more. So the rumor right now is that they're working on a T-hybrid version, which is just basically what they did with the GTS originally.
Yep.
You put the off-road suspension, body, and whatnot, and I'm sure they're going to have a line of people wanting to buy that. Since you and I, when we all drove the GTS, it's hard to tell that it is a hybrid. I think people will be more than happy.
Tons of power, instant at your foot. What's next in news?
So Porsche, who's evidently has an employee camped out at the patent office, is filing for another patent. The name alone is pretty cool. It's an axial flow machine. So basically, the long story of it and short of it is the hybrid motor that they're using now in the GTS and in the plug-in hybrids like the Cayenne is a long motor, and it's limited to 215 horsepower, I think. This new radial flux electric motor, it's much smaller and is capable of a lot more horsepower. Mercedes uses it. Their suppliers different. ZF is doing the one right now they're using. A company called Yasa has made a prototype for Mercedes that's making 1,005 horsepower.
Wow.
And it's only 3 inches thick.
That's
so
crazy.
They think that's going to be what we'll eventually see in like the GT3 and whatnot, because it obviously can put a lot more power.
Compact.
And but here's the thing: so far, it only works with like the PDK transmissions. So I don't know. This is yet another sign that maybe we won't see it on the manuals, the hybrid system. But anyways,
interesting.
Porsche is going to town right now, and it seems like every other week we hear a patent being filed.
All right. I want to remind everyone we will be having Tech Tactics East. We don't have a date yet, so just keep reading your e-brake news, and we'll make sure it's usually.
I will say, I just got an
March.
email as we were. Rolf just sent an email that looks like it's February 21st and 22nd. That's open for them, because they have to make sure they're not away being trained themselves, because they're the ones who train the technicians, but the trainers have to go to training too. So it looks like February 21st and 22nd of 2026 will be the dates for Tech Tactics.
And it is limited, about 125
per day.
Yeah, 125 people per day. So we'll make sure we get all that information out, and be sure to register. Works Reunion Amelia Island is March 6th. Registration opens December 10th. So, of course, I'm sure we'll see you there.
Yep. Can I judge us here?
You sure? We always are looking for judges.
They
if you
are
want.
always
We're always looking for judges, so you just let us know. We make that happen. Carrera 3.0 video dropped. Do you want to talk a little bit about that, Damon?
Yes, so this is, excuse me there. Going to let the video play a little bit for those who are watching on YouTube here. But back in July, when I was driving out to Oklahoma City, I stopped off in Tulsa and met Nathan Mers, one of our Porsche experts who's done a ton of model guide videos with us. And we met up with somebody, I guess the Carrera 3.0 community out in Oklahoma. And Tulsa specifically is where we're filming this at an undisclosed location. But we had several, I think it was 5 or 6 Carrera 3.0s on location. Not all of them were inside the garage, not enough space. But it's basically, I'm one of those people who didn't know much about a Carrera 3.0. And like a lot of people, I think, assumed that it was like, is it related to the 911 SC or whatever? And I left it there.
Yeah.
It's absolutely not that.
Yeah.
It's the kind of car where maybe you want an RS 2.7 or one of those higher level air-cooled Porsches. And those are way too much money. So Carrera 3.0s aren't cheap either. I think we, on our podcast, the last one, we were talking about it, and they're in that, 80, 90 to 110, 120 range. But that's, excuse me, a lot less than a Carrera RS 2.7.
Right, exactly.
So watch it if you want it.
A lot of car for the money. Nathan, of course, geeks out, as he usually does a fantastic job. A 2-year model car, right?
Yeah.
Yep, 1976, 1977, and
Euro only though.
Euro only.
yeah, and it's pretty cool too. because of what was going on at Porsche at that time, 1976, no brake booster. 1977, yes, brake booster. So, but that doesn't just affect the brakes. It's also, you can store the Targa top without folding it if you have a Targa. So there's actually quite a wide range of cars in the Carrera 3.0, the 2 years that it was produced. So never sold here in the U.S., but it can be imported under the 25-year rule to the U.S. now.
There you go. All right, I want to remind everyone, if you're interested in racing with PCA members online, check out PCASimRacing.com. If you're looking for some PCA Insider swag, head over to our PCAWebstore.org. We have Insider bottles, mugs, t-shirts, and if you're looking for Insider decals, send us your address information to podcasts@pca.org, and we'll get us set out to you. Tim, thank you for joining us, and I'm very much looking forward to tonight on Tech Tactics Live. Thank you all for listening. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and consider sharing our show with fellow Porsche enthusiasts. Until next time, stay safe, and we'll catch you down the road.
Thanks, Phil.